Think about the person in your world who is real gravitas. The one who walks into a room and without doing anything obvious, people take seriously. Here is what you'll notice. They're almost never the loudest person in the room. And that is the thing that most people get wrong about gravitas. They try to build it by adding more talking, more confidence, and more presence. But gravitas is not built by adding. It is built by subtracting. I spent years as a CEO and years since watching who has this and who does not. So let me show you what gravitas actually is and the specific things you can do to have more of it, especially if you're not the loudest voice in the room. Let's start with what gravitas actually is, because it is misunderstood. It is not charisma, it is not volume, and it's not confidence turned up loud. Gravitas is a quiet sense that a person is settled, that they are not performing for the room's approval. When someone has it, people lean in, precisely because that person is not chasing them. It reads as, this person has nothing to prove. And a room picks that up in seconds, long before you have said anything of substance. The good news is that it is not a personality you are born with. It is a way of carrying yourself that you can build. And here's the paradox nobody warned you about. The very things that got you noticed early in your career are the things that undermine your gravitas later. Being the quickest to answer. Having something to say about everything. Filling every silence. Showing how much you know. Early on, that reads as sharp and eager, and it gets you promoted. But at senior level, the same behavior reads as anxious, needy, and junior. The higher you go, the more your gravitas depends on restraint, not output. That is a hard switch for high performers, because output is exactly what has always worked. So let me give you the specific moves. The first, and the most powerful, is this. Stop filling the silence. When someone asks you a question, just let it land. Pause before you answer. When there is a gap in the conversation, do not rush to close it. Let others finish completely before you speak. The person who is comfortable with silence looks like the person with nothing to prove, because they are not anxious to fill the space. Most people cannot bear 2 seconds of quiet, so they talk, and every word past the point spends their authority. Hold the silence, and the room gives you the weight. The second move, say less and mean it. The senior person does not narrate the whole thought process out loud. They do the thinking, then they offer the conclusion. Fewer words, more considered. And cut the qualifiers. The I just think, the maybe this is silly but, the sort of and kind of. Those little hedges are you asking permission, and they quietly leak the message that you are not sure you belong. Undertaking signals security. Overtaking signals anxiety. So slow down, drop the padding, and let a few clear words do the work that a whole paragraph used to do. And here is the part you cannot shortcut. All of that, the stillness, the silence, the fewer words, only work if it is real. You cannot fake being settled. Under any real pressure, the anxiety leaks out. In the rushed answer, the over-explaining, the need to be agreed with. Which means gravitas is finally an inside job. It comes from generally not needing the room's approval to feel okay about yourself. That is why the loud confidence you can perform is not the same thing, and everyone can tell the difference. The real work is interior, getting to the point where you do not need to prove you belong, because you have quietly settled that question with yourself. So gravitas is not volume, or polish, or confidence on display. It is the quiet authority of a person with nothing to prove. You could build it by subtracting the noise, the qualifiers, the need to fill every silence. And by doing the interior work, that lets you be generally settled when it matters. Start with one thing this week. In your next meeting, when you feel the urge to jump in, wait. Let the silence sit. See what happens. This channel is about the interior side of leading at the top. So tell me below, who is the person with the most gravitas you have ever worked with, and what do they actually do? I read every comment.